Happy Saturday, my beautiful soul tribe. Welcome back to another round of Japanese versus Chinese. And we're continuing with Volume 2. This is Part 2 of learning how to write the Hiragana and the Katakana languages. So buckle up and here we go. So before we get into the writing part again, let's just recap what we learned so far. We learned that the Chinese characters came to Japan by Buddhist monks who brought all their sutras that were translated from Sanskrit into Chinese, and then the Japanese adopted the Chinese characters for their unique spoken language and added some more characters to the character set that China doesn't use. And because the Japanese didn't understand or had a hard time reading the Chinese characters when they were reading the sutras, they came up with their own unique language called katakana to be able to translate the sutras into Japanese easier. And then after that came Hiragana, which was created by a group of women. Since women back in those days were not allowed to write, they created Hiragana that allowed them to communicate effectively, and that became their third form of writing, which is used today. Both are used today interchangeably within different types of literature. That brings us back to where we are today. And last time, in part 1, we learned the sounds in Japanese are stemmed from 5 vowels: a, i, u, e, o. And we learned how to write Hiragana and Katakana for the ah sound. What we'll do here is we'll review what we've learned. So, ah in Hiragana is written like that, and like that in Katakana. We then learned that ka was written like this in Hiragana, and in Katakana was written like that. We then learned that sa was written like that in Hiragana, and like this in Katakana. And ta was written like this in Hiragana, like this in Katakana, and then na like this in Katakana, like that. And then we learned ha in Hiragana, like that, and like this in Katakana, and ma that's in Hiragana, and in Katakana, like that. And then we learned ya like that, Katakana, like that. And ra, we learned that the R syllable is not pronounced like R. It's pronounced like a half roll for a Spanish R, with your tip of your tongue on top of the roof of your mouth and back of your teeth, and as you breathe out, ra, ra. And in Hiragana, like this, in Katakana, like that, and then wa, and then that's Hiragana and Katakana, like that. And finally we have wo, but it's pronounced o, and it comes after a subject in grammar. It looks like this. It's Hiragana and Katakana. Looks like this. You want to start getting used to counting strokes, because when we get to the kanji, the characters, you're going to need to understand how strokes are counted. So basically, remember it like this. Every time your pen or pencil or paintbrush touches the surface of whatever you're writing on. So for example, let's write the Japanese word for mouth. Okay, it's just a box. And that's used in so many characters. On its own, it means mouth, and it's pronounced kuchi. And you write it like this in Hiragana. So kuchi, and in Romanji, it would look like kuchi. So, when we're counting strokes for this character, it's a good example. The first stroke you make, that's 1. Second stroke, 2. Third stroke to close the box, that's 3. So your stroke count is 3. And this will matter when you're going to look up things in a dictionary. Dictionary, you're going to look for the number of strokes that radical is. And we're also going to go over a radical chart, but as you write the Hiragana and Katakana, try to do the same thing too. Like for example, a, it would be 1, 2, 3. 3 strokes. Okay. If we're doing ra, 1, 2. Because your pen or your writing instrument only leaves the surface of your paper twice. 1, 2. So the next vowel we come to is E. Okay, so now E is by itself, and Hiragana is written like that. I'll do it again. Okay, and in Katakana, it's written like that. Okay. First consonant is just like the before. We're going to start with K. So we have ki. Ki in Hiragana is 2 lines like that, and then that. I'll write it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. In Katakana, it's even simpler. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. They're almost the same, they just don't have that little thing on the side like that. Okay, so the next consonant is she. So notice it's not C. they don't have that sound. So instead it's she. She looks just like a fishhook in Hiragana, and in Katakana it's two dots like this. It's kind of like a smiley, sideways smiley face. So I'll write it again, like that. That's she. Next one we're going to do, there is no such thing as T. It changes to chi. And chi looks like this. Here, I'll write it. That was a bad chi. That's chi in Hiragana, and in Katakana it looks like this. Okay. Okay, the next thing we come to is knee. Say it just like your knee. N-I. And this one is kind of similar to the E. You have the same guy like that. And then remember E is like this, but with knee it goes like that. And in Katakana it's like that, which this also is the way to write the number 2 in Japanese in characters. And that's how it's pronounced too, by the way. Ni is the number 2 in Japanese. So ni in katakana is easy. It's just the same as the number 2 in kanji. The next consonant we have is hi. And hiragana kind of looks like our capital U. Like that. And in katakana, like that. It looks kind of like a person sitting down. 1, 2. Okay, the next consonant is the letter M. Mi. In hiragana, mi looks kind of like the letter Z with a little thing through it. 1, 2, 3. And in katakana, it's written 3 slanted lines like that. The next consonant we have is Y. In Japanese, there is no such thing as yi. That doesn't exist. So there is nothing, no equivalent for that in Japanese. So that's one of the columns that are blank. Then we go on to the letter R. Ri. Ri. And ri is written like that. And it's the same in katakana. And finally we have W. And there is no such thing as we. So that is left blank. So let's review all the I's again. So just the E sound by itself, like that. And for katakana, like that. Then we have ki. For hiragana and for katakana, looks like that. And then remember, there is no C, but we have she. And that looks like a fish hook, if you remember. And like that, katakana. And then we have, there is no T. So T changes to chi. And that looks like that. And then for katakana, like that. Then we have ni. Ni. Like that. And for katakana, it's the number 2 in kanji. Then we go to he. Then we have like a capital U looking like thing. And then for katakana, it looks like that. And then we have me. In katakana, it's 3 lines like that. And then we have, remember, there's no such thing as ye, and there's no equivalent. So then we move to ri, and that is pronounced, or that is written like that in both hiragana and katakana. And then lastly we have we, which is another one that doesn't exist. And there is no equivalent. That is your list of I's. And that will do it for this lesson, for part 2. In the next part, we'll review A and E, and then we'll start on U and see how far we can get from there. Thanks for stopping in and remembering with me, and I'll catch you on the next video. I love you.